We have resolved all issues as to the legitimation and parenting plan. The sole issue that we present to you today and we announced on is the issue of child support and what that number should be. We have different calculations. Our position is both parties are W-2 employees and they both receive VA disability benefits. So these numbers are in our at our point of view, crystal clear. When you put them in the worksheet, it gives you the corresponding number that it should be. The only differences that should be is the deviation for travel. Miss Wilson is moving to Dallas. She's indicated. That's why the parenting plan had to be changed. She's moving to Dallas. And so the child being only 2 years old, there has to be round trip tickets purchased for Mr. Hugger to exercise visitation. And the child obviously he has to accompany the child on these round trip tickets at least 3 times a year. So we're asking for a specific deviation because of those travel expenses. We are at a huge divide. I think they're at $2,200 for child support, and I believe we're at $1,200 or $1,300 for child support. I have those worksheets that I'll share with the court. But our numbers we're going to indicate is based solely on both parties' W-2s and VA benefits. The numbers don't lie.
Okay, well, we'll get there. Before I hear from you, Ms. Sekle, just as an overview, we don't need to do argument yet. The mediation agreement to which everyone signed has a child support figure. It's not anywhere near either of those. When I say what's the origin, I'm not asking anyone to disclose what was discussed during mediation, but there's this document that everyone blessed, and it has child support flowing from Mr. Hugger to Ms. Wilson to the tune of $600 a month. And now, Ms. Alman-Ra, you're saying, yeah, we think it should be around $1,200. And you're saying that Ms. Sekle will say, I'll give her a chance to speak for herself in a moment, should be $2,200. Those are double and then almost 4 times as much. Where did we leave the $600 behind?
Yana, would you like me to?
Either one of you. I was surprised to hear, not that there's a disagreement, that's why we're gathering, but that neither of the numbers is the 600. And yet that was what everyone talked about, apparently, in front of the mediator. So you sure, Ms. Sekle, why don't you start?
Yes. Well, first, Judge, I wanted to add, we cannot see your lovely face. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Oh, sorry. There it is.
Yes. Hi, Judge.
Lovely as ever.
But yes, so we had a full agreement in mediation, but basically after my client found a hidden camera in her tree that was placed by Mr. Hugger, and there is a current pending criminal action of family violence that Mr. Hugger has. So that was in violation of his bond. So then my client said she did not feel safe. She was moving to Texas. They agreed, in spite of the standing order and all those things, that she's going to move back to Texas with the kids because that's where she's originally from. And so that's where the $600 goes out the window because, of course, with the new law starting this January, the parenting time heavily affects the amount of the child support. So with the less parenting time, that's how the numbers are.
Oh, because under the mediation agreement, Mr. Hugger was going to have every other weekend, running from Thursday to Monday. I mean, much more time with, I'm going to call him Keith Jr.
Yes.
Okay, got it. Okay, so some of that is, as you said, out the window because no one's flying to Dallas or wherever it is in Texas every other weekend, and et cetera. Okay, that makes sense. And so in some respects, we are starting over with the child support calculation.
Correct, Judge, yes. And I don't think in this case, the issue is the amount of days. And now is the issue of how we're calculating the gross income for Mr. Hugger.
Okay. Well, we'll work through all that in just a second. You said something about how Ms. Wilson is moving back to Texas with the kids. I thought you said plural, but I
It's
think
just
we're
one child.
just,
She has kids from another,
okay.
yes, relationship.
In
This only
terms
an
of,
issue in this case.
all right, for Mr. Hugger and Ms. Wilson, one child, that's Keith Jr.
Correct.
Okay, all right. What are your thoughts about who has the burden here? Because I understand you both have a perspective, but the petition that was brought was a legitimation petition. And basically, Mr. Hugger has prevailed on that. Not that there was opposition, but he is the biological father. He has certain custodial rights based on the mediated agreement, et cetera. And so we're really done with that part. And it was a counterclaim that Ms. Wilson brought for child support that it seems like we're litigating. So I sort of feel like, Ms. Eckley, we ought to start with you and your client and whatever you want to demonstrate. But if you two have already spoken and Ms. Amun-Ra, you were going to go first, I'm okay with either. But I think it's that really respondent would go first here based on how the pleadings were structured.
Yeah, sure. I'm fine going first, Your Honor.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Before we go further, Ms. Amun-Ra, are you having technical issues? I noticed you've got someone with you kind of peering at the screen and everything. You're on mute right now.
My age is showing right now. I'm trying to make sure that my exhibits are going to be able to be shared seamlessly with the court. And so I have my assistant making sure that that's coming through.
Your technical advisor?
Yes.
Excellent. Good. We'll take whomever as long as things will show up. Ms. Eckley, why don't you get started and we'll get into this.
Yes, Judge. Would you like me to swear the witness in?
Please.
Okay. Ms. Wilson, can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to provide to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. Ms. Wilson, can you please state your full name for the record?
Kendra Rashawn Wilson.
Okay. And what is the name of the minor child that is involved in this case?
Keith Richard Hugger Jr.
Okay. And how old is he?
2.
Okay. And you heard us speak with the court just briefly that all issues regarding custody and parenting time and visitation has been resolved. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. And so the only issue remaining before the court is child support.
Correct.
Okay. And where are you currently employed?
Where am I currently employed? I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous.
Okay, don't be nervous. We're all here. The judge wants to hear the issues, and
No one is going to be yelling. There may be from
Yeah.
time to time someone says objection, and that is basically means timeout. Let me just hear what the lawyers have to say. But take your time. Tell me what you do for a living right now.
Okay, I work at the Department of Justice. I'm a paralegal at the Department of Justice.
So DOJ is in Washington. Are you in Washington or do you work
In Atlanta, Georgia?
for the U.S. Attorney's Office?
Correct.
So you work for the U.S. Attorney's Office in Atlanta, but are moving to Texas.
Correct.
Okay. Will you still be working for DOJ there?
That is the plan, yes.
Just in the U.S. Attorney's Office? Where in Texas are you moving?
Dallas.
Okay. And they have a U.S. Attorney's Office at the Northern District of Texas or something?
Yes.
Okay.
okay. And how long have you been working there?
Since November 2024.
Okay. And are you fully remote?
No.
Okay. Do you have to go in the office sometimes?
Yes, 5 days a week.
Oh, okay. Will you still be able to go in the office when you move to Texas, I guess?
I mean, as long as the child's in daycare, yeah.
Okay. But you'll just go to an office local to Texas and not in Atlanta.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, perfect. And are you paid a salary?
Yes.
And how much is your salary?
Like 81,000 a year.
Okay. And Your Honor, so do we have permission to share our screens already?
You do, both sides do, and hopefully, it sounds like from what Ms. Amun-Ra shared, that you're not going to be putting up exhibits she hasn't already seen. But go ahead and whenever you want to publish things, get them admitted, et cetera, that's fine with me.
Okay. Attorney Amun-Ra, do you want to just stipulate to all of them, or you want me to just, I'm not going to lay the foundation for each of them. I was just trying to save time. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Your only exhibit I have an objection to is Exhibit 8, which is that text screenshot that
Okay,
doesn't have the complete date, but everything else was things that we both have the same paper through
okay,
discovery.
okay, that's fine. I can lay the foundation for that when we get to it.
Okay.
Okay. So Ms. Wilson, I'm showing you what's been stipulated to as our Exhibit 1, and these are just your most recent paycheck stubs. And can you see that? I don't know how it looks on your side.
Yeah, $81,605.
Okay, and that's your current year-to-date salary.
Yes.
Okay, and then do you also receive some veteran benefit?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to show you some marked as our Exhibit 2. And this is your veteran benefits here that's already been stipulated.
Yeah.
And could you read that out for the court, your monthly amount that you get?
$2,592.30.
Okay. And are those benefits paid monthly?
Yes, once a month.
Okay. And is R1 and R2 admitted? I don't know if you needed to say it still or not.
As long as there's no objection, that what I heard Ms. Amon-Ra say is, other than your Exhibit 8, she doesn't have objections. So 1 and 2 are in. We've got the pay stub from the U.S. Attorney's Office as well as the VA benefits.
Okay, perfect. And we've already discussed you moving back to Texas, Ms. Wilson. Have you looked up any daycares in Texas?
So I've looked up a couple daycares. It's hard to, if you're not there in person, it's hard to get the tuition and fee information. But yes, I have looked at some daycares.
Okay, and I'm showing you some marked as our Exhibit 3, which is Explore preschool and school age. It's just their tuition fee schedule. I'm just clicking through it so you can see all of the pages. Is this one of the daycare facilities that you're looking at in Dallas, Texas?
Yes.
Okay, and for the tuition rates, which program would you be enrolling him into?
So it would be early preschool beginners for 2 to 3-year-olds, 5 full days, Monday through Friday, for
Okay.
$340 a week.
Okay, that'll be the $340 a week.
Yes.
Okay. And let's see. Are you familiar with where Mr. Hugger works?
From my knowledge, he works at Atlanta Police Department.
Okay. And how long has he been working there to your knowledge?
I think like 5 or 6 years. I'm not completely sure.
Okay, but has he been consistently employed since the time that you've known him?
Yes.
Okay. Is he also a veteran that receives benefits?
Correct.
Have you seen his paycheck stubs and Discovery?
Yes.
Okay. And she's already stipulated to him, but these are some of his paycheck stubs, I believe, from the end or the beginning, I think March of this year. Can you see those?
Yeah.
Okay. And it has his gross pay. For example, for one paycheck stub, that's $2,871.68. Have you seen that before?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm just going to show you his veteran benefits letter. I believe this is his letter right here. This R6. And could you read out to the court the amount that he receives per month?
$4,085 and 40. I'm sorry, $4,085.43.
Okay. And that's in addition to, is that in addition to his salary that he receives from the police department?
Correct.
Ms. Wilson, do you know why, and it may be Mr. Hugger explains it, should he testify, why his benefits, VA benefits, would be so much more than yours?
Because he is 100% disabled veteran, and he also has our son on his VA benefits as a dependent, so he gets additional money for our son, where I am only 90%. So there's a difference depending on the percentage you are for the VA.
Of your disability?
Correct.
Okay. And is there any plan on your part to seek to add Keith Jr. to your VA disability benefit?
Well, it's only one of us can have him on there.
Right.
Mhm.
I agree, but you're not seeking to have that switched over. It's just the way it's reflected is, that's one of the reasons why Mr. Hugger has a higher monthly payment from the VA.
Right, yeah. I wasn't going to, because I have two other children that are on mine.
Okay,
So I didn't mind that he had them on there.
okay, all right.
Okay. And how long before you and Mr. Hugger broke up, how long were you together?
2 years. We lived together for 2 years.
Okay. And during that time for the Atlanta Police Department that he worked, when y'all lived together, what was his work schedule like?
He would work, sometimes he would work 7 days a week. He would work, I don't remember the exact days he worked because he doesn't have like a normal Monday to Friday, 8 to 5. But
Mhm.
usually he would work like 1 to 10 or 2 to 11 in the evenings. I think like 4 days a week, and then he'd be off 3 days. But then he would like go to his EJs on the weekends and do like the parking lot on Saturdays from like 8 to 2. And then he also worked overnights. At least 3 times a week he worked overnight doing security for like one of his clients where he worked overnight 3 days a week.
Could you explain to the court what EJs are?
It's like an extra job that police officers are able to do because they are because they are a police officer.
Okay. Is that a way, to your knowledge, for them to earn extra income?
Yes.
Okay. And has there been a time before where you received money for one of his extra jobs on his behalf, or you had to send him money from one of the extra jobs on his behalf?
Yeah, so the overnight job that he worked 3 nights a week, the guy that paid him, I guess there was a problem with his Zelle or his Cash App, so he couldn't get it. So the guy had to send it to me in like October. So he sent it to me every week, like $1,100 a week that he was getting paid from that job.
Okay. And was that just one of the EJs that he was doing?
Yes, he does. He does EJs all the time.
Okay. Um, I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit A, and I'll just lay the foundation because I already know opposing counsel has an objection. Could you tell the court what this is? This has been marked as our Exhibit 8.
So this is a text message between Keith and
Yeah.
I.
Your Honor, I'm objecting to Exhibit 8.
Okay, yeah, why don't you,
Not
well,
share it until, okay.
yeah, as long as Ms. Wilson knows what you're talking about, have her describe it before you put it up on the screen.
Okay. So could you tell the court what that is?
Yeah, so it was a text message between Keith and I towards the end of the year preparing for tax time, but he had sent me a screenshot of like a calculator of him calculating his salary for the year 2025.
Okay.
And he said that he had made about
Don't, okay, don't
220.
say, okay,
Oh,
don't say what he said yet.
okay.
Did you said this is by the end of the year. Was this December 15th of 2025?
Yes.
Okay. And is that screenshot a true, and is that a screenshot, a true and accurate depiction of the screenshot of the text message in your phone?
Yes.
Have there been any alterations or deletions to that screenshot?
No.
Okay. Your Honor, I intend to move to evidence or Exhibit 8.
Ms.
Your Honor.
Amon-Ra, what's your objection to Respondent's 8?
On that said screenshot, there's no year whatsoever on said screenshot. She
Okay.
reports that it's 2025, but there's absolutely no year indicated on that screenshot and nothing to corroborate what year it was or the amount that they're alleging that is on that screenshot. So
Wait,
it can't be that that screenshot cannot be authenticated as to time. So they have not set the proper foundation as to when that screenshot was taken and what year is corresponding to.
Your Honor,
Okay.
My client has authenticated. She testified that it's a screenshot in her own phone. She's also testified that it's December 15th of 2025. And also with Apple, if it doesn't have a year, that normally means it's the preceding year. If it was something from 2024, 2023, it would have said that all the way at the top. But either way, Your Honor, she has authenticated there has been no alterations or deletions, has been changed. So I believe I've laid the proper foundation to enter this exhibit into evidence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Your
ma'am.
Honor, I still object because Your Honor has to make a determination as to what is the valid income of my client by what, different years that he's made income. And there's nothing indicating what year this is saying. All we have is a number there with no year whatsoever and we can't use just a number on a screenshot to determine his income to put into a child support worksheet.
Okay, I will admit it. I think that it has been authenticated. Now, the weight I give it is another matter altogether, but Ms. Wilson has testified that it's from 2025. Ms. Amin-Ra is pointing out, well, gosh, it doesn't say 2025 on there. The one part I'm letting you know I'm not considering, because I'm not an Apple technician, is Ms. Sekle saying, hey, I can show you it's 2025 because Apple would put a year there otherwise. That may be true. That part I don't know. That's sort of coming from the outside. But Ms. Wilson has said that's what it is, and I'll credit her testimony as I see fit. But you are pointing out, Ms. Amin-Ra, that that's it. It's her word. There's nothing else that makes it 2025. That may be sufficient for what I need to do. It may not, but I'll sort that out later. So if you would please publish Exhibit 8, Ms. Sekle.
Yes. Thank you, Your Honor. So Ms. Wilson here, could you tell the court the conversation or give more context to why Mr. Wilson sent you a screenshot of the calculator of how much he made that year?
I mean, I don't know why he sent it to me, but he just sent me this. He was calculating how much he made for the year, and he sent me the screenshot of what he made for the year of 2025. It was December, so I think it was just because we were gearing up for tax time.
Okay. And to your knowledge, the numbers that he added up in this screenshot, would that have been a combination of his W-2 income, his VA benefits, and the extra jobs?
Correct, yes.
Okay. So that's 3 different sources of income to your knowledge.
Yes.
Okay. And
Do you have any specific recollection, Ms. Wilson? Like you guys were joking around about a granola bar and then all of a sudden he showed you that, or you just were going through your texts and in preparation for doing, supporting what Ms. Sekle is doing on your behalf and like, hey, would this be helpful? Or tell me why you connect that figure with 2025 as opposed to 2 years ago or 5 years ago.
Well, I didn't move to Atlanta till February of 2024. So there's a date at the top of the text, but I remembered that he sent me.
Oh, so you didn't have, there are only 2 December 15th it could be. It could be
Right.
2024 or 2025. It's not like there are 19 different December 15th you and Mr. Hugger shared.
Right, yes.
Okay. All right. Ms. Sekle, back to you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to show you now. It's been marked as R Exhibit 9. This is a child support worksheet that my office prepared on your behalf. Have I shared this document with you before, Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Okay, and you recognize it?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just going to walk you through, but more so the court on how, we got all the numbers, of course. So for example, your gross monthly income, the 9392, is that made up of your W-2 income and your VA benefits?
Yes.
Okay. And the 18,491.08, did we just take I believe the 221,000 $221,893 that Mr. Hugger sent you, and we just divided it by 12.
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm going to scroll down here to schedule. Let me see, to schedule D, the work-related childcare. Right here, you see it says $13,600 for the whole entire school year. Did we just get that number by multiplying $340 a week times the 10 months, which is normally the amount of time in a school year to get that figure?
Well, it should be times 12 because he's 2, so he doesn't get a break.
Okay. I know sometimes, to your knowledge, sometimes are there different rates for summer
Well,
than
yes.
during the year? So would you like the court to calculate that separate? You see that column right here, it says during summer. Would you like the court to calculate that separate amount for summertime, which would be about 2 months?
Well, usually with daycare, it's the same each month because he's so young. Like he'll be in the same daycare. He wouldn't change. It might
Okay.
be more because they'll do like water play or things of that nature, but that's really all.
Okay, so it may be more for summer, but you're saying it won't be less.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So would you
Why
like,
would it be if the childcare, what you showed in one of the earlier exhibits is that childcare was $340 a week. And so I just did 340 times 52, and that's a different number than what you've got there. How do you get to the 13,600?
yes, Your Honor. So what I did, I just did the 340 times 10 months instead of 12. But now she's asking the court that we can just multiply that number times the 52 weeks, like you said, because if
Got it.
it'll be more expensive, but it won't be cheaper.
Okay.
So we can stick with the 340.
Okay.
Okay. And see down here, you do understand that Mr. Hugger has to travel back and forth to Dallas, Texas. So did you agree to give him a travel deviation or about $121.50 per month?
Yes.
And did we get that figure by looking up the average cost of round trip flights from Atlanta to Texas, timesing that by the amount of times he has to exercise his parenting time throughout the year, and then dividing it by 12 to get this number?
Yes.
Okay.
How many, remind me, Ms. Sekle, what the parties have agreed to? I know it's now different from what was mediated. How often is Mr. Hugger able to spend time with his son?
Yes, let me look at the parenting plan. I believe it was 6 times, and I'm looking to my legal assistant to see if she'll give me a nod of yes or no, because she's the one who helped me calculate it. But I believe we calculated at least 6 times that he will have to do a round trip to exercise his parenting time, but that includes holidays. And I'm
Okay.
just gonna see if I have any other exhibits to share before I rest my case, Your Honor.
Did you, I don't know if I can ask you a question.
Go ahead, Ms. Wilson.
For the health insurance as well. I don't know if that's covered.
Okay, let me reshare my screen.
Ms. Wilson, is Keith Jr. on your policy or Mr. Hugger's policy?
He's on mine.
Okay, so you, through your insurance, are covering most of his like child wellness expenses. What is it that you're seeking in connection with expenses that aren't covered? Like uninsured medical care?
That we would split it.
Okay.
Well, I don't know exactly how it works, but with the health insurance, if I'm going to be the primary person covering him, I guess a reimbursement for half of those costs, and then we split if anything is not covered.
So are you saying they just want to split the uninsured cost 50-50?
Yeah, that's fine.
I want to make sure I follow both are you also asking that somehow Mr. Hugger reimburse you for the insurance cost?
Yes.
But if you have a policy that covers you and several kids, I don't know how we do that math. When I worked for the federal government, I had 3 kids, and my policy was no more expensive than my neighbor in the office who had 2 kids, because it's either you plus 1, or you plus family.
I
Yes.
agree. The only thing is that because Mr. Hugger and I are both veterans, neither one of us have to get health insurance because we're already covered.
Okay.
So I don't have to necessarily have it, if you get what I'm saying. Like, I
Yep.
have it to cover the kids. Whereas he doesn't have any kind of health insurance coming out of any of his checks because he gets it for free.
Okay.
So
So what do you have on the screen, Ms. Seckley?
yes, I was just going to have her just testify so you could see it. The health insurance premium on behalf of the child is $83.77.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'm just seeing if I have any other questions for her before I rest my case, Your Honor. Okay, I don't have any further questions at this time, Judge.
All right, 1 second. When are you moving to Dallas?
Hopefully by the end of August.
And do you know for sure that you have a position in the Northern District of Texas, or you're hoping?
So we're working on transferring my job there. But
Tell me,
go ahead.
well, tell me what that means, that maybe it will happen, or it will happen, you're just not sure when it will happen.
I'm just not sure when it will happen.
Okay, so you will have a position with the Department of Justice through the U.S. Attorney's Office of the Northern District of Texas. You just don't know if it starts on September 1 or September 30th or what have you.
Correct.
Okay. And when you get to Dallas, are you staying with, I don't mean day one, but sort of 6 months in, are you staying on your own, or are you staying with family?
So my mother lives there, so I would have to move with her for the time being. But I have a house there, so I can stay in my house.
Okay.
Hey, Ms. Wilson, how long have you owned your house in Texas?
Since 2023.
And is it currently being rented out?
Yes.
No further questions from me, Your Honor. I was just asking questions based on the court's questions.
Yep, no, I appreciate that. Ms. Amin-Ra, do you have questions for Ms. Wilson?
Do, Your Honor. Ms. Wilson, at this juncture, as of today, you are not 100% certain that you will be moving at all. Isn't that correct?
No, that's not correct.
You don't have a date certain for your move, correct?
Well, no, I don't have a certain date, but I do plan on moving.
Okay, but as of today, you don't have a date certain, correct?
Objection, Your Honor, as he answered.
Overruled.
You've indicated that you have 2 other older children who are school age, isn't that correct?
Correct.
Are they currently enrolled in school here in the state of Georgia?
They're
Sorry.
still enrolled here, but they just got back to help move things back to Texas.
Wait,
Schools. Go
I'm
ahead, sorry.
confused by that answer. When you say they just got back, how many kids do you have besides Keith Jr.?
So I have 2 other children,
Okay, how old are they?
7 and 15.
All right, and when you say they just got back, were they with their father over the summer or something, or what's they just got back?
Yes, they were in Texas.
Okay, in Dallas?
Yes.
Okay, and they came back to you. School starts here. My kid starts on Monday. Are they going to be going to school here in Atlanta starting next week?
I haven't determined that yet.
Well, I don't know how legal it is for you to not have them enroll in school. So if Atlanta schools, and maybe you don't live in Atlanta, you live in some outlying city, but if I didn't take my kid to school on Monday, I'm getting sideways with local authorities. Well, tell me, I want to understand a little bit better the plan for them. I realize this case is not about them, but like Ms. Amin-Ra, I'm just trying to understand this dynamic about a move, because if your kids are going to be going to school here, I don't know that you're going to uproot them after 1 month, and especially for the 15-year-old. And but you're going to make those decisions. I just want to better understand what the plan is.
So, well, the issue is that with this case going on, I can't take the baby out of the state for more than 14 days, so I couldn't move him. So my kids were in Texas, but Texas schools don't start till the end of August.
Okay.
So, I mean, they have time to get enrolled into school.
Okay.
And we did have a verbal agreement as far as me moving to Texas, but Mr. Hugger has never signed that agreement. And they've done like a bait and switch before, so I didn't know how this was gonna pan out.
Your Honor,
Okay.
may I interject briefly? She's saying she wanted to follow the standing order, as you know, like with you can't move.
Right. No, she can't disappear with the kid somewhere. I get that. I'm understanding all her answers. The disconnect I had was thinking that Texas schools started next week as well.
Oh, yeah, they don't.
And that's
Yeah.
not the situation. So these kids enjoy a longer summer, or they got out of school later than my kid did. But there is very much a scenario whereby they could timely enroll in schools in Texas and not get pulled out of a school they've been in for 4 weeks in Atlanta or in the Georgia area. Okay.
Judge, and I also want to briefly interject again. We do have an agreement on the parenting plan, but it has not been signed by the parties. Because I saw Attorney Amin-Ra kind of made a face, but it has not been signed by the parties. So of course,
And we've been
nothing
exercising
is
that
set in
payment plan.
stone
Yeah.
until we sign it. So that's why
Yep.
I've advised my client that.
Okay, but I did not mean to hijack your cross-examination, Ms. Amin-Ra, but like you, I was perplexed about the kid situation. I feel much clearer about it. I want to return the microphone to you.
Ms. Wilson, the daycare information that you provided is in Dallas-Fort Worth, isn't that correct?
Yes, it's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, yes.
Isn't it correct that school starts in Dallas-Fort Worth on August 10th?
No, it doesn't start August 10th.
Pull that up
Not
for
that
me.
I know of.
Have you looked? Because have you looked at the start date for school in Dallas, Texas, for Dallas-Fort Worth, where you gave the daycare information from?
So from my understanding, the schools don't start till mid-August.
Okay, so you would be surprised that it starts on August 10th?
Yes, I would. Yeah, I didn't know.
So you haven't looked for schools for your 15-year-old and your 7 or 8-year-old as of today, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. Those kids are not an issue in this case, and I really feel like I'm kind of getting sidetracked here. The only
No.
kid at issue in this case is Keith Hugger. Jr.
Well, I hear you, and I'm gonna overrule the objection. I explained to Ms. Wilson, they are not connected to this other than that they're with mom, and mom is saying, I'm moving to Texas, but I'm not sure when, and I don't know when this job is gonna be open in Texas, and she can't miss both school start dates. I mean, she could. That is a big problem for the kids and for mom if they're not enrolled in Georgia and then they're not in the Dallas-Fort Worth area when school starts there. And I'm not accepting that it's August 10, but I'm not doubting Ms. Amin-Ra when she says that. I'm guessing that if we all went onto the internet, we'd see that it's the 10th. It's just, it is, okay, but it's just crystallizing for me this this need to get more clarity about, is there going to be a move and when is there going to be a move? Not to force Ms. Wilson to move, but it directly impacts Mr. Hugger and his ability to see the kid and his kid, and also the whole expense structure. So it's a variable, and I think Ms. Amin-Ra is entitled to explore that variable a little bit more if she wants to.
If we show that it starts on August 10th, the children won't be there for August 10th, correct?
They can be there for August 10th if that's the exact date that school starts. But my mom told me that it started mid-August, so that's what I was going off of because she's helping me facilitate everything.
But you just, okay, go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
Would your mother be in a position to effectively parent, or maybe it would be their father, but would the 15-year-old and the 7-year-old have a place to live and a guardian of some sort to make sure that they're going to school if you and Keith Jr. were still here?
Yeah, so my mom kept my kids for the last 6 weeks in Texas. My daughter's dad lives in Texas as well. We moved here from Texas.
So your two other kids could go back to Dallas, be with your mom, get to school, and get plugged back in. Where did they go to school last year?
Here in Atlanta.
Okay, so this would be regardless, it's a big change for them. They are not going to the same school they did last year.
Correct.
Okay. Do they know this?
Yes.
Okay.
Ms. Wilson, your 15-year-old, 7-year-old are not registered to go to school here in Georgia as of today.
I never unregistered them. So are they registered? Are they on the books of their schools? Yes, because I haven't unregistered them.
I'm going to motion to make this for the child support to be determined on a temporary basis because there's a huge difference in parenting time if she remains here versus if she moves to Texas. I fully appreciate that child support needs to be paid, correct? But we're talking about two enormously different numbers. And by her own testimony on direct and cross, she's not sure when this will happen, if it will happen.
But couldn't we just figure out what the two numbers are? And as long as Ms. Wilson and Keith Jr. are in the Fulton County area, then we operate under number one, amount number one. And we can agree whatever the order is going to say. Here's how Ms. Wilson certifies she's in Dallas now. We can figure out what that's going to look like. Then figure number two kicks in so that we don't have to have another hearing and drag everyone back together. But I don't disagree with you, Ms. Amin-Ra. As long as Ms. Wilson and Keith Jr. are here, it's a different landscape. And it's going to be more access for Mr. Hugger to see his son, and correspondingly less he pays in child support. None of that prevents Ms. Wilson from moving if the ultimate agreement is, and I think it will be, of course you can move to Dallas, and then that will just shift the dynamics, both financially as well as parentally. But I share your thought that we ought to come up with both numbers and then just agree on what the triggering event, the triggering event is that Ms. Wilson moves, but how we confirm that. And then we would move to the other amount. Ms. Sekle, I think I saw you nod your head. To me, that makes sense. And it doesn't put any pressure on anyone to do anything differently. If the vicissitudes of the federal government are, we can't take you till October 15th, Ms. Wilson may choose to keep a well-paying job here in the Northern District of Georgia, which would mean she stays and Keith Jr. stays, but she's arranged for her older kids to start to relocate in the Dallas area. They stay with grandma, they get acclimated to their new schools, but they're not stuck because the job hasn't moved and they're not in Georgia schools and also not in Texas schools.
Yes, Judge. I think that's a good resolution.
Okay. All right, Ms. Amun-Ra, back to you.
Ms. Wilson, you indicated that your home in Texas is being rented. What income do you derive from the renting of your home in Texas?
I don't get any income from the house in Texas. I actually have to pay because they don't pay the full rental amount.
Okay, so there's no income. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, as to
I'm sorry, your answer was they don't pay the full rental amount. I'm assuming they pay whatever you charge them, but rent is less than mortgage.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm making numbers up. They pay $1,000 a month. You're paying Wells Fargo $1,200 a month for the mortgage.
Correct.
Okay.
do you, Ms. Wilson, do you know what those numbers are? What is the mortgage and what do your renters pay?
My mortgage is $3,700, plus fees for property manager, that's $300. So like $4,000 and they pay $3,100.
Okay. The extra jobs that you indicated that Mr. On your direct, those are not stable income. Isn't that correct?
That's not correct. The one that he does 3 times a night, he's had that for at least the last 2 years, and he gets paid weekly.
When you say 3 times a night, that's the 3 nights a week. This is the overnight security job where you, for a while, were getting the Zelle payments.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
He's not currently working that job. Isn't that correct?
I don't know what he works. The last time I was putting our son in the car, he still had his police uniforms in the car, so he was working EJs. So I don't know what he works. He doesn't tell me. The last conversation we had about any extra job that he said that he had a contract job overseas this past weekend, that he was doing the same thing that he was doing when he got out of the military. So that's what he told me. So he has a 4th job. That's what it sounds like.
But as of February 2026, you have no evidence that he's working any EJs or any contracts. Isn't that correct?
We don't live together anymore, so I'm not sure what he's doing.
Okay.
I can only tell you what he told me.
Okay. You guys have never filed taxes together. Isn't that correct?
Correct. We've never filed taxes together.
And you were provided his 2025 income tax return. Isn't that correct during discovery?
Yes, ma'am. That's right.
Okay. And that income for last year, 2025, was only $62,176.
That's documented in evidence.
I'm asking if she has knowledge of what he was making in 2025.
Your Honor,
He
she's
made
asking.
200.
Hold on. Don't answer yet, Ms. Wilson. The lawyers are going back and forth. So it seems like a fair question if she's familiar with the form, although the question was not what did he make in 2025? It's what did he report on his tax form? Those could very much be 2 different numbers.
And that's my point, Judge. She's asking her to testify to a document that has not been submitted in evidence. And maybe
Well, it doesn't have to be if she's familiar with it, and you're welcome to submit it. I assume Ms. Amun-Ra is going to submit it, but if it's something Ms. Wilson has seen and is familiar with it, and you are as well, she can talk about what she remembers from it, but she may not. She may need to see it to have her recollection refreshed. So Ms. Amun-Ra, ask your question again.
Familiar with his 2025 tax return.
Yes, I saw it.
Okay. And what, if you don't, was it $62,000 that he made in 2025 pursuant to what you recall?
He made $221,000 in 2025.
You don't have, do you have anything to show, any 1099s or anything to show that was his income for 2025?
He doesn't report all of his income because he gets paid in cash.
So that's a no? You have nothing to show?
Just the text messages that I provided from him.
Yeah, I have no further questions for this witness.
Okay, Ms. Seckley, any redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Wilson, thank you for your testimony. Ms. Seckley, any other witnesses?
No, Judge.
All right.
Where are they? The files.
Ms. Amun-Ra, any witnesses you want to call?
I'm going to call Mr. Keith Hugger, Your Honor.
All right. You want to swear him in?
Mr. Hugger, if you raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you'll give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, yes. Now, can I see them at the same time? Okay. Mr. Hugger, how are you employed?
By the City of Atlanta Police Department.
So APD?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and how long have you been with APD?
5 years.
Okay.
Mr.
And
Hugger, tell me what you do for APD.
I am a regular patrol officer with
What zone?
Zone 3.
All right. And what shift did you work in 24 and 25?
In 24, I worked on a specialized unit, the bike suppress team, and then in 25, I was moved from Zone 6 to Zone 3, and I worked evening watch.
Okay. And tell me how it works that you're deemed 100% disabled by the VA and you can work full time as an active duty police officer.
The VA has 2 categories of 100%. It's 100% unworkable and 100% non-workable.
Okay. So you have a disability recognized by the VA, but they know full well that you're working.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Hugger, I'm going to show you what I've labeled as Petitioner's Exhibit 1. And Your Honor, some of these exhibits are the same, similar to, or no, are exactly the same as what was presented by Councilman Sickle.
Okay.
Okay. Do you recognize what I've put forth as Petitioner's number 1, Exhibit 1?
Yes.
Okay. And what is it?
It is my pay slip.
Okay. And is your gross that's listed here $2,871.66, 68 cents, I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
And is that for 1 month or 2 weeks?
For 2
Bi-week.
weeks.
How do you
Okay.
get paid?
I get paid directly, like
No, I'm saying, do you get paid weekly, bi-weekly, twice a month?
bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly, okay. So it's $2,871.68 bi-weekly.
Yes.
Okay. And we've put numerous pay stubs that show the same amount, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the first one was pay period ending June 3rd. The next one is May 20th. The next one is, I got them out of order a little bit, May 6th. And they all have the same amount, correct? $2,871.68, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And that's going all the way back to April 8th, and it's still $2,871.68 biweekly gross.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Your Honor, I'm going to ask to save time. Ms. Seekley, do you have any objection to any of my exhibits?
I don't have objections to this one. I don't think I got a copy of your exhibits. It's my first time seeing.
If you check your email, did you do reply all so she would get it and her assistant got it? I'm gonna have her to send it to you again.
I believe you sent them an hour ago at 1:48.
Okay. Do you have them now?
Yes, I can review them simultaneously.
Okay. Like I said, Your Honor, a lot of this is the same exact, we have the same exact exhibits.
Okay.
Okay, now, Mr. Hugger. So I seek to, do you have any objection to, I seek to introduce petitioners 1.
No objection.
1 is admitted.
So petitioners exhibit 2. Mr. Hugger, what are we looking at here?
That is my disability income.
Okay, and there are two different figures on this disability income. Tell us what your disability income is and why there's two different figures.
My disability income was $4,085.43. It's currently $3,603.43. And the reason behind that is I was married. I got divorced in 2019, and I notified the Army. So on the Army base, they have a DEER's office, and then VA has their own office. I notified the DEER's office that I was divorced, and I thought that was enough for them to remove my wife off of my disability check, and I will just go back to a single income. July 2nd of 24, when my son was born, I went back to Deers to put him onto my record to start getting income for him. And I also notified them that I wasn't married, still currently unmarried. So during the time from the divorce to the time that my child was born and put him on the disability income, the Army had paid, the VA had paid me 19,000 and some change. I don't remember that. It's 19,000, and it's a debt that I'm now paying back to the VA.
Why is it a debt? Why shouldn't they have been paying you?
Because they shouldn't have paid me that because of the divorce. My ex-wife was on my income, and they still had it as she was on my income.
You were getting more because the system thought you were married.
Yeah, they still thought I was still married.
And you weren't, so you have to pay that back, which is reducing your monthly amount by, it looks like about $480 a month until you pay it back.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
So what you're receiving every month now is $3,603.43 because of the 19,000 overage.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I seek to introduce petitioners 2.
No objection.
Admitted.
Okay, petitioners exhibit 3. What is this?
That is my 2025 taxes.
Okay. And your pursuant to your 2025 tax return, what did you make in 2025 on pursuant to this tax return? I'll go down to the
$61,438.
okay. The AGI or the adjusted gross income was, what's that number? Is that $62,176 for 2025?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I seek to introduce petitioners 3, which is the 2025 tax return.
No objection.
Submitted.
Okay, let's go to petitioners exhibit 4. What are we looking at on the screen?
We are looking at my relief of duty from the from Atlanta Police Department.
Okay, explain to us what is a relief from duty?
Relief of duty, I'm not allowed to work. I'm not allowed to have a firearm on me. I don't have my powers of policing, and I'm forbidden of working any extra jobs or any overtime during my relief time, and I'm forbidden to carry any personal weapons or secondary weapons on duty.
When did you receive this relief from duty? What's the date on it?
February 9th of 2026.
Okay, and as of today, are you still under this relief from duty?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and can you read the last two sentences that are bold and underlined?
You are forbidden to work any extra job or overtime during the relief of duty. You are also forbidden from carrying any personal weapon or secondary weapon on duty.
Have you abided by this relief from duty since that's been put in place as of February 9th, 2026?
Yes, ma'am.
I seek to introduce what's listed as a Petitioner's Exhibit 4.
No objection.
It's admitted. So that I understand that, Mr. Hugger, OPS is investigating you, someone reported something, excessive force, whatever it is, and until they're done, you're still getting paid. So do you have a desk job, or they're just paying you and you get to watch soap operas?
Correct, Your Honor. They're just paying. I'm not allowed to have any weapons. So they don't have any openings for me to go in and work.
Okay.
Mr. Hugger, you were put on this relief from duty because of the pending criminal action involving Ms. Wilson. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that has not come to court yet?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Let's go to Petitioner's Exhibit 5. Have you looked at how much it would cost for you and Keith Hugger Jr. to do round trip tickets to and from Atlanta to Dallas and back and forth?
Yes, I have looked over them.
Okay.
A couple months back.
And have you looked at the 2 different times a year for December, Christmas, and then spring to get an idea of how they vary?
Yes.
Okay. Like this first one, help me to read this. Where does it say December? Okay, the first one, your son is 2 years old. Isn't that accurate?
Yes.
So you would have to buy a round trip ticket for him and yourself, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And for December, you found that round trip tickets for 2 people on Delta was averaging $865, correct?
Yes.
So about $435 each for round trip. I can't hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then we also looked at March around spring break. And that was about $755 for 2 passengers round trip from Dallas to Atlanta?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you would have to make some one-way trips as well, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Because would you have to go from Atlanta to Dallas to pick him up and then do a round trip for both of you going back and forth, correct?
Yes.
Or did you also look at the average one way to go down to pick him up?
Yes. Yes,
and
ma'am.
was that about 168 for the one way to pick him up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And we'll show the child support worksheet later, but are you asking for a deviation based upon the cost of said travel?
Yes, ma'am.
And we conservatively calculated that at about $240 per month, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I seek to introduce Petitioner's Exhibit 5.
No objection, Your Honor.
It's admitted. Ms. Amin-Ra or Mr. Hugger, help me get to the $240 a month. Is it what I had heard previous to Mr. Hugger's testimony is that there might be 6 visits a year, well, 6 going to get Keith Jr. and bringing him back. So you're not saying they're monthly trips, but if you take the total amount and divide by 12, that gets you a monthly figure?
Yes, Your Honor. We took the 2 because it's more than twice a year, but we took a spring flight, and we took the December flight, divided that by 2, and then multiplied that, and then divided it by 12. And plus we added the one ways because he has to go down and get them.
Sure.
It's probably a little more than 240, but conservatively it's about 240. That doesn't include gas to and from if he had to stay overnight or anything like that. Feeding
Okay.
the child at the airport. We thought 240 was a fair and just amount for him to
Okay.
get that travel.
All right.
Okay. Okay, okay. Now, petitioner's exhibit 6. Oh, wait. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I have to change that because that was upside down in the first one. Okay. This is the one with the. Yes, this is what I just gave. Okay. Okay. This is a little bit out of order. Petition is number 7. Okay, Mr. Hugger, we put Miss Wilson at exactly what she had on her child support worksheet, which was $9,392. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and on this particular worksheet, we have you at $9,825. Isn't that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That would be, and the way we calculated that was $2,871, which is your gross biweekly, times 26, and divided by that by 12, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And we got a monthly of 6,000. I think I'm off by $5. A monthly of $6,220.50. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And if we add the VA that you're actually getting, not what you got before you had to reimburse for the overpayment, if we add that to $3,603, that was the total of $9,820, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So off by $5, but $9,820. The VA disability that you're actually getting, plus the gross monthly income pursuant to your pay stubs, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And we also gave Miss Wilson the her child health care and daycare. We added that to the worksheet as well, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the numbers that we got were the numbers that she provided to us on her worksheet for the most part, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And pursuant to our calculations, child support was calculated at $1,280 per month
Yes, ma'am.
if she's living in Dallas, Texas, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And Your Honor, you can see that we added the child care and health insurance in these calculations. Now, did we also do a calculation based upon? That's it, Your Honor, I'm sorry. So
Okay.
this is.
So I want to make sure I'm clear because I'm going to have you all send me your exhibits. I don't have them, but now that they're admitted, what we've been talking about is 7, which is the child support worksheet, Ms. Amun-Ra, that you did using the figures that you and Mr. Hugger have just narrated. What was your exhibit 6? Or are you coming to that later?
Number 6, can you put that up on for me? Because I anticipated there being a disagreement as to whether or not the VA should be in the calculation, should be $4,085 or $3,603, what he's actually getting now versus what he's awarded. I did it both ways.
Okay, so 6 is a similar exercise, but with the higher VA amount.
Correct.
Okay.
Because I had anticipated the the disagreement as to, because if he had this debt that the opposing counsel wanted to keep it at 4,085, and I was asking for it to, the VA to be exactly what he's actually getting, which is $3,630.
Okay.
Okay. And I can attach that as well. Miss Seclay, and am I saying your name properly, or am I saying
It's Seclay.
Seclay? Sorry. Attorney Seclay, do you have any objection to 7?
No, but we are still contesting the amount.
And I get that. No one by allowing a worksheet admitted is saying, and those are the good numbers. I get that the dispute is, and they're not bad numbers, but there's a disagreement as to what should go in which blank.
Right.
Okay,
but
Your Honor,
no
I'm going
objection to the
Okay.
document itself now.
Okay, we can turn it back around. And Your Honor, I'm going to submit number 6, and and we've had a little technical difficulties, it's upside down. But the number, Mr. Hugger, with the full benefit, even though you're not getting it right now, we understand that, at 4,085 was the number 1,325? The child
Yes,
support amount?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, Your Honor, I seek to introduce 6, and I'm going to try to turn that around for you, but.
And the only difference between 6 and 7 is that 6 reflects the full VA benefit rather than the one that's reduced because of the overpayment Mr. Hugger had received.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Hugger, are you asking the court to keep the agreed amount child support of $600 plus half of the daycare, which was approximately a little bit over $1,100, until a triggering event, until Miss Wilson actually moves to Texas?
Yes.
Okay. I have nothing further for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Seckley?
Yes, thank you.
Can you take your exhibits down? If you'll stop sharing your screen, Ms. Alman-Ra.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and so we're clear, all 7, if you only had 7, all 7 of your exhibits are admitted.
Yes, Your Honor. I don't believe Miss.
That's fine. No objection to any of them, to the one she admitted.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Mr. Hugger?
I'm done. Okay.
Okay, I'm just going to, so I'm trying to share my screen again. I'm going to show you what's been marked as our exhibit. This is our exhibit 5. Do you recognize this document, Mr. Hugger? I don't know how it looks on your side, or do you need me to zoom in
Yes.
or out? Is this a copy of your 2025 W-2? I think it's a picture that you took yourself.
Yes.
Okay. Is this a true and accurate copy of your W-2 for 2025 that you took?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I need to move into evidence, our exhibit 5.
No objection, Ms. Alman-Ra?
No objection, Your Honor. We supplied that. The
Okay.
2025 tax return as well.
It's admitted.
Thank you. Could you read out box number 5 for the court, Mr. Hugger?
$69,063.90.
Okay. And then this is just from the police department, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That doesn't include any of the cash for your extra side jobs that you got in 2025, does it?
No.
Okay. So do you report the money that you get from your EJs? Do you report that anywhere, like a 1099 or anything, or is this all cash?
I report the jobs that I did have. But yes, I do get paid in cash.
Okay. Do you sometimes get paid on Cash App as well?
Back in the beginning of 25 and 24, but no.
Okay. For EJs, have you ever had anyone send you money via Zelle as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you consider that as I'm not trying to split hairs, Mr. Hugger, but if someone sent me via Zelle, I'd pretty much say, yeah, you paid me cash. You don't necessarily have to hand me the $100 bill. You've zapped it to me electronically. It wasn't a check. It wasn't a credit card or something like that. When you say you were paid in cash, were you including things like Zelle transfers, or in your mind, that's distinct from a guy handing you an envelope that had $400 in it?
The same transaction. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And then I know you testified earlier that you're paying something back to the VA, correct?
Yes.
But your gross amount of income that you receive from the VA is the $4,085.43, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you also have been relieved from duty since February 9th, that's correct?
Yes.
And is there any reason why you still have your police uniform in the car?
I still have all of my uniform. I do not have my weapon and badge and things that I need to wear when on duty or working the EJ. We have to be in full uniform.
So your testimony is that you have not worked any EJ since February 2026.
Correct.
Okay, but you do agree that that's because of the pending criminal case that you have, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what about the job that you did overseas for a contract last weekend? What is that?
I did not work any job overseas.
So your testimony is you have not worked any contract job overseas that you told Ms. Wilson about?
Correct.
Okay, so are you saying Ms. Wilson just made that up?
We did speak because she was watching our son over the weekend, and she was wanting to know excuses why I was not able to watch him. So I just told her something so she wouldn't just constantly badger me with questions.
Okay. Do you often lie just because, Mr. Hugger?
No.
Okay. So let's go back to the text message. I know you've seen it earlier before. Do you want me to reshare it again? The one where you sent her the message about the 221,000?
I'm aware of it.
Okay. So when you sent her that message, you had, well, I'll just share it again anyway. Go back here. So in that message, you sent her the text saying, this is what I made this year. Do you remember sending that text message?
I did not remember sending that text message until I saw it in the exhibits.
Okay. And
But once you saw it, did you think, wait, this is a deep fake? Or, oh yeah, I did. I remember that granola bar and I did send that.
I didn't remember that. It's in the text thread. It's there. Me and Miss Wilson been communicating since 23 till February 8th. So it could be any of the years.
Okay, but that's two different things. I'm not saying, do you remember the specific date and time, but you aren't suggesting that you never sent that. You're like, yeah, I sent that. I just can't tell you what year it is.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
okay. And so before you were relieved from duty for your job and you couldn't do any EJs, would it be common for you to earn in excess of $100,000 a year?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm just going to walk you through it just a little bit. So, for example, you saw your 2025 W-2. That was $69,000, correct?
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
Your 2025 W-2, that was $69,000, correct?
That's what it says on the W-2.
Okay, and then if we take your VA benefits that you get every month, that's $4,085, and we multiply that by 12, you would get $49,020. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'm not going to expect Mr. Hugger to be able to do the math in his head. So just we'll assume your math is correct. We'll all be double checking everyone's numbers later on down the road.
Okay,
Thank you.
well, just in general, Mr. Hugger, 40,000 plus 60,000, just 4 plus 6, that would be 10, correct?
Yes.
But if you have the zeros, that would be 100,000, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you're earning over 100,000 just based off your W-2 income and your VA benefits alone, you would agree that your EJs, your extra jobs, that will put you way above the $100,000 gross income mark, correct?
No.
No? Okay, let me walk you back. On average, how much did you make per week with your EJs?
It fluctuates. It can be from $300 up to $1,100. The EJ
Okay.
is a privilege from the department. It can be taken away if I don't do my job correctly and I get in trouble. They take the EJ away. So it's not for sure, oh, this is what I work. Or with the EJ, if the owner of that store or parking lot don't want police services, they can let you go. So it's nothing set in stone.
Mr. Hugger, when you say that the department can take away the EJ, do you mean if you have an OPS situation, they can forbid you from doing EJs? Or do they broker the EJ so they could say, you know what, Hugger, you can't do the parking lot anymore because you were late to work a little bit. We're going to give you the kids' playground, or we're going to give you.
No, so I'm sorry for interrupting you.
It's all right.
So with the EJ, it's a privilege from the Atlanta Police Department to work extra job providing security for the community. Now, if I'm patrolling with my unit, Zone 3 Evening Watch, and my sergeant or my lieutenant is unhappy with my performance, not writing enough tickets or arresting enough people, they can take the EJ away from you because the primary job is policing, not the extra job.
Got it. But you find your own, assuming you're in good graces with the department, you find your own EJ. You might connect with a nightclub that would benefit from an extra guy in the parking lot or this or that. And you need to let the department know this is my EJ because they may not want you working, I'm making this up, at a strip club. Hey, that they got to pay for their own. They're not going to have APD at a strip club. But if you look, there's this baseball field and they need security. I'm going to be the security guy there. As long as the department approves of it and you're in good graces, you find your own EJ.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Fill out a permit and it has to be approved, correct.
Got it. But it's not that the sergeant is handing them out. It's like, hey, here's a good one for you. You go work at Lakemont and you're going to go do this. You have your own, and as long as everything is going smoothly, you can keep doing that.
Yes.
Okay.
So for 2025, so just before February of 2026, before the relief of duty, before that, how often did you do EJs?
I did an EJ twice or 3 times a week.
Okay, so about three times a week. Is that the same consistent EJ that Ms. Wilson testified about that was the overnight?
No.
No, okay, which one are you referring to?
I used to coordinate EJs, so I had officers working at different locations.
So you were an EJ broker, or you meaning you worked with someone who said, I need 5 officers, and you help other officers get EJs because you needed 5.
Yeah, so I used to coordinate, and if I didn't have enough officers to work it, I would work it with them.
Did that mean that the private entity would pay you and then you would pay the officers, meaning your colleagues, or they would get paid directly by the whoever needed the services?
It went both ways. They will either pay me and I will pay the officers, or they'll pay the officers directly.
Did you get some money even if you weren't working because you were supplying officers to this? What is this we're talking about?
The extra job?
Yeah.
It would be a eatery or a parking lot at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Okay. And they need 5 officers. You find 5 guys who are doing it. Do you still get a little bit because you found 5 guys for the parking lot at Mercedes-Benz Stadium?
Yes, if I found 5 guys, I would just get a coordination fee. I would not get the full amount of working the shift.
Got it. But if you could only find 4 guys, you get a coordination fee plus you're one of the ones working the shift.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge. So how often did you do that? You said about 3 times a week.
No. 2 to 3, but I will have people work and it will be weeks I do not work.
Okay. What about around, I guess, like the holiday season? Did you do more EJs around that time of the year?
No, I was home.
You were home? Okay. Were there any seasons that you consider like peak seasons that you worked a little bit more than normal?
Summer. If anything, will be summer.
Okay. And the only reason you're not doing EJs now is because of the relief of duty, correct?
Yes.
Do you still coordinate?
I cannot coordinate. I cannot do no form of any transaction. All of my affairs has been moved to had to be given away. So
Okay.
even if I go back to work, I will have to find new contracts.
So you're saying the ones that you were doing, they've been given away to other people now?
Yes. I do not have those contracts.
Okay. Isn't it true that the contracts, I guess they've been given to, you still have a connection with those officers and then they still give you some money
No,
on the side?
no, not at all.
Okay. Also, when you were looking up the flights for your parenting time, I saw you only showed Delta, but you can fly a different airline that's a little more cost efficient, correct?
As anyone, yes.
Okay. And let me see if I have any other questions for you. So technically, right now, you're still employed full-time, correct?
No, I'm employed, but I'm on leave of duty, so administrative leave. So
Okay. But the leave is paid leave.
yes.
No further questions for this witness, Judge.
Mr. Hugger, I need you to help me estimate what you think, and you can pick whatever unit of time you want, whether it's week or month or year, so annually, monthly, or weekly. You earned for your EJ work, and we'll say in 2025. And I hear you that it's variable. It's not the kind of thing where it's 500 every time and you do it three days a week. That's easy. That's 1,500 a week. There was some up and down, so you may need to give me a range. But I have one data point right now, and that data point is that screenshot, which would mean your EJs were netting you about 120 grand a year. Unless you were boasting to Ms. Wilson with that figure you did. But the math that you've helped us with is about 60 grand for being a law enforcement officer, another 40-ish grand, it would be a little more, for the VA benefit. So that gets you to 100 a year. And the only thing I've got right now is 1 year, and you help me appreciate, well, it could be 24, it could be 25. I've been talking with Ms. Wilson for a while. It was 221, which means EJ's got you 120 grand. Do some math for me, and walk me through how you do it to say, you know what, I think a reasonable figure for a week or a month that I could then extrapolate across and say, when you're back on the force full time and it's not on this leave that you've been put on, and thus able to get EJs again, here's additional income you'll be earning. Does that my question make sense? It was a lot of words, but I'd love to guess as little as possible.
Okay, yes. Like like you said, the EJs are they fluctuate in the summer with football or any other the sports. The one of the EJs that I was working and coordinating, it'll be higher in the summer. Um, if I my job is still up in the air, don't know if they're even going to bring me back. But if I do go back, I will have to go back out and search and get contracts.
So yes and no, I hear you. I'm assuming you get your job back. Obviously, if you don't, we need to revisit all this because if the new job you get pays, I'm making it up, 30 grand a year, then 30 plus VA benefits is a much smaller number. And that job might not have the side benefit of you could do EJs. But if you go back as an officer, then you will be back in the EJ world, but you're not going to be a stranger to your friends there. And so I've worked alongside law enforcement long enough to know that you won't be like a complete rookie when you go back. Dang, I'm going to get the worst possible EJ, stand outside a CVS for $4 an hour for 10 hours a night. That's just not where you're going to land. You're going to hook up and guys are going to be helping you out. And so, yes, you may not be a coordinator anymore, but you also aren't going to be on the bottom rung of the EJ ladder. But I want you to tell me not what you think you might get going forward, but I'm asking you what 2025 was like. And so reconstruct for me what the EJ income might be. And yes, it's higher in the summer. Really, it would be more fall if it's football than it might be in the spring. But I'd like to guess as little as possible, but if I have to rely on what's in the record, it's $120,000 a year that you made on EJs. And if you don't think that's accurate, bring me closer to an accurate figure.
An accurate figure, us officers, if we work an EJ for an hour, is between $45 and mainly $65. I will work 2 to 3 days out of the week. After I work my police shift of 10 hours. So with 4 hours, it will fluctuate between 800 to 1100 if was working that week.
Okay. 800 to 1100 per week if you were working that week. So it may not be 52 weeks a year, it could be less than that. And they're the variables of football season is better and maybe non-football season is worse. Okay, that's helpful. Ms. Amun-Ra, did you have anything else for your client?
Yeah, I have a brief redirect. First and foremost, Mr. Hugger, if you are convicted of the charge that you're facing in state court, will you be still an APD officer?
No, I'll be relieved of duty. I'll be
Relieved of duty,
terminated.
you'll be terminated. Is that accurate?
Yes.
So these EJs that you're just saying that you could potentially get is speculative, depending upon if you maintain your job, correct?
Yes, and if I can get those EJs once
Okay.
I am.
So currently the EJs that you used to do is it correct that they have different coordinators now?
Yes, they have different coordinators, different officers. They now are whatever officer permanent EJ now that is theirs.
All right, and let's talk about this text. Did you ever put 120,000 in your pocket after your VA and your regular pay from APD?
No, I never.
Okay, so why would you put that in that figure 221 or whatever it was in the text?
The whole entire time me and Miss Wilson was dating, she's always been gloating about my income and calling me rich baby daddy. And
Okay, so let's be crystal clear. So you've never put 120K in your pocket
no,
as in EJs?
no, ma'am.
Okay. I don't think I have anything else, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hugger, for your testimony. Ms. Alman-Ra, any other exhibits or witnesses?
No, that's the close of our testimony, Your Honor, in our case.
Can I have brief recross based off the court's questions and her redirect?
Okay, that's fine. I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
No, you're fine, Judge. Mr. Hugger, so when you said that you work your EJs 2 to 3 times per week, were you paid per job or were you paid at the end of the week?
It depends. It will be one that will only pay on a Friday, or it will be a EJ that as soon as you get done working it, the 4 hours working, that will pay you right then and there. So
Okay.
as soon as work is done or on a set day.
Okay. For the one, for example, for the one you mentioned that if you work 4 hours, you get paid that same day. Could you give me an example of one that you did and how much they paid you?
Sorry, can you ask that question again?
Yes. So for example, you were saying like if you do an EJ for 4 hours, they'll pay you that same day, correct?
Yes.
Could you give me an example of one that you did for 4 hours and then how much they paid you at the end of the night?
Say the parking lot one, it will go for $50 an hour. So $4 hours that they will pay at the end, they will pay you $200, and that will be it. That's what you'll make for that day.
Okay. And then the ones that you said they only pay on Friday, do they pay you for more than one day, but it's all on like one pay, I guess, on that Friday?
If I when I had that one, it was a permanent one, and it will be just like a regular check that you'll get.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So for that, could you give me an example on that one? Like a job that you did, I guess 2 to 3 times throughout the week, but they gave you just one paycheck on Friday.
Yes, the security one, it will be two to 3 days out the week, and that will bring in around like $850.
Okay. And when it comes to the criminal case, isn't it true that Miss Wilson agreed to change the bond conditions from no contact to no violent contact? So you and her could co-parent together?
Yes.
Okay. And have you, just in general, your criminal history, have you ever been convicted of anything before?
No, never.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Your Honor, that's going to make me ask a couple of questions. Okay. Do you, even though the bond conditions were changed to no violent contact, does that have that doesn't have any control over what happens with the actual case, correct?
Correct.
And Miss Wilson has not signed any type of affidavit saying she wants the case to be dismissed, correct?
Correct.
Okay. She's only allowed the communication for the benefit of your child.
Correct.
Okay. So you're still facing the domestic violence charge that could have you terminated with APD, correct? And then you said that you have some of the on and off jobs that pay you like $50 an hour, maybe $200 that particular night. But that permanent situation that you used to have, is that currently being worked by someone else?
Correct.
So, God willing, you get back on with APD after the resolution or of the criminal case. You're not guaranteed to get back with that permanent situation, correct?
Correct.
You would have to seek out these EJs, correct? All right, nothing further.
All right. You good, Ms. Eckley?
Yes, I'm good, Judge.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hugger. So the evidence is closed. I'll ask both sides to email to Ms. Niles your exhibits so that I've got them they were all self-explanatory, but insofar as I need to populate a child support worksheet, some of those numbers I need. I just want to talk through a little bit. I don't want to prevent you all from arguing if you want to argue. I think that the facts are sort of out there, but I'll let you both state your position. Before you do that, let me tell you what I'm wrestling with a little bit. We have a situation that isn't in concrete yet. Ms. Wilson plans to go to, I think eventually will go to Dallas. And once she's there, that's a very different visitation situation for Mr. Hugger. And it very much changes the math because there is quite a different parenting time credit if you are needing to come to Dallas to get Keith Jr. Infrequently, as opposed to what had been in a parenting plan. We also have the variable of Mr. Hugger's employment. We know what he's making right now because there are no EJs, so it is his police salary and his VA benefits. We certainly have that, and there's a variable within there about is it the full VA benefit or the amount he gets to keep because he's paying back the arrearage. But regardless of that piece, if he's terminated, then he'll need to find a new job. He may be unemployed for a little while. The new job could pay more, it could pay less. It might not have access to EJ. So this is a particularly tricky one to build an income model. And I say all that to suggest that we may need to revisit whatever I come up with because no one has a crystal ball. I suspect that within a month or two, Ms. Wilson will be in Dallas. So we ought to build in that answer. I don't know what's going to happen with the case and Mr. Hugger's job and all that. And Ms. Alman-Ra, I noticed you are counsel for him in the misdemeanor case. So you might have the best sense of anyone here of where that's going and a potential outcome. But still, if the state doesn't drop the charges, is it a trial? Is it a plea to minimize the risk? Who knows? I don't want to wait to give some guidance and whatnot to Ms. Wilson and Mr. Hugger to when Judge Edie eventually gets to that case. So we do need to go forward. So I just flag all that so you are touching on those things in your presentation. It's not as simple as 221 versus the figure that yielded the $1,200 a month in child support. There's a little bit more to it. So with that, Ms. Seckley, if there are things you want to share with me, sort of synthesizing what we heard this afternoon, I'm happy to listen.
Yes, Judge. I'm going to share my screen. I just came up with a little demonstrative aid because of all the math, and everyone knows lawyers are not good at math. That's why we became lawyers. So let me share that for you in Attorney Alman-Ra, just so, we won't have to be doing all the math in our head. I don't know if this is big enough for everybody, but I wear glasses, as you can see. So I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger because I know sometimes I'll zoom in. Okay, Judge, thank you so much for hearing this case today. We appreciate your time, of course. I just wanted to lay out these numbers for the court so you can have a better picture of what the incomes are going to be. So I do agree with the court that we at least need to do 2 worksheets, one with parenting time with him here, and then one parenting time with him, my client moving to Texas. But regardless of that actually is not the issue today, Judge. The parties are not arguing about whether the parenting time days are correct. We're really arguing about what Mr. Hugger's income is. Ms. Wilson's income is clear. She is a W-2 employee. She gets her VA benefits. That number about, I think it was like $9,200. That there's no dispute over that.
I have a question. I think we asked this of Ms. Wilson, and you guys are both under oath still in case I come up with other questions while we're working through the helpful argument from both sides. Ms. Wilson, do you have a sense of whether your salary will change when you move to Dallas? Because there is a little bit of locality variability. If you're going to Manhattan, you would get paid more, but you're not going to Southern District of New York. And Dallas and Atlanta are pretty comparable. What have you heard or learned, if anything, about whether that 81,000-ish that you make, what it would be when you start in the Northern District of Texas?
The locality rate is a little lower in Dallas. I don't know the exact amount. I know it's a little lower because I moved here from a federal job in Dallas. So, but I don't know
Okay.
the exact amount. But I think it should still be around 80,000 a year.
You will not be making more by making the move to Dallas.
No, I won't be making more.
Okay. All right. Sorry, Ms. Seckler.
No, you're fine, Judge. That was a good question. So yes, Judge, the confusion, well, I'm not confused. Confusion is about Mr. Hooker's income. So, Your Honor, his VA benefits are $4,085.43 per month. Despite him repaying a debt and them automatically taking out of his check, the law is clear when it comes to child support. It is the parent's gross income. So that is his gross amount of income that he's receiving from VA benefits. Even if they didn't take it directly out of his check and he had to repay it separately, just like it was a credit card debt, you still would take the party's gross income. If that's the case, the law would say net income, but that is not what the statute says. So, Your Honor, if you take his VA benefits of $4,085.43 per month, multiply that by 12, you'll get the $49,025.16. Then, Your Honor, you have his 2025 W-2 income, which you saw, and we will send you those exhibits as well. And that income, as he testified, was $69,063.90. So those two numbers are clear, they're static, we have what that is. If you add those two numbers up together, Your Honor, you're already at over $100,000. Now we get to the issue of the EJs. So currently, yes, he is not able to do EJs because of the pending case, which is no fault to Ms. Wilson. But Your Honor, he has testified very clearly that this is his earning history, and it clearly is his earning potential as long as he's able to go back and do the EJs once the relief of duty is lifted. Now, Your Honor, I know you're concerned about we don't know what's going to happen with his job, but unfortunately, we cannot go off the future. But what the law says is that we can go off of the history of the earning income potential and what he has already earned. If things do change and he's making less, the proper remedy would be for Mr. Hugger to file a modification of child support. The proper remedy is to not wait and see and speculate of the future about what he will make. The proper thing for the court to do is to follow the statute and go based off of what we know he has made just about just about the end of last year, and that this is the potential that he has to make when he is on full duty. So, Your Honor, I just did some numbers. I took the average of what he said that he makes from the EJs. I believe he testified, actually want to change these numbers because he said that for one job for sure, he would get $850 if he just worked 4 hours. And then I believe he said he said he would make $200. Then he said another job, if he just got paid on a Friday, he would get the $850. So, Judge, I just took both of those numbers, added them up, and I got $1,050, and I times that by 52 weeks. And then I got the $54,600 for the year just based off EJs alone. So, Judge, if you add all of those together, the VA benefits, the APD, the EJs, you get a very conservative number of $172,689.06. And Judge, the reason why I say this is conservative is because this does not include possibly the amount of money he was getting from coordinating EJs. This is just the amount of money he was getting from working the EJs himself. And Judge, when you look at the evidence of the text message where he sent my client the fact that he made $221,000, this is still well below that number, but it's definitely more than what he's representing to the court today. So, Judge, we are asking that you impute him at the income of $221,893 per year, because by his own words, that's what he put in writing. That's how much he made. But Judge, if you are not inclined to just be set in stone on that number, at least go based off of the evidence that you heard today, which I believe I have shown you is $172,689.06 for his gross yearly income. And then for my client, I believe her I don't think hers is in dispute, but just for the court to have a number, her gross monthly income would be $9,392. And that includes her VA benefits and her W-2 income. So just that's what we're asking for today. And then of course we can work out the variables of the parenting time, the daycare, and I believe there's no dispute to her health insurance, and that's also on the sheet. And that was, I believe, $83.77 for the child.
Yeah.
So, that's what we're asking the court for today, and we thank you for your time.
Question, you use as Mr. Hugger's 2025 W-2 income, the $69,000 figure, which was the Medicaid wages, but not the reported figure, which was like 61,000. It's not gonna move the needle a ton. Why do you select that number, which is not what anyone has ever paid? It's just what they use to calculate what your Medicaid contribution is.
Yes, Judge. Again, the statute says that you go off of gross income. So we know our gross income, of course, is made up before we pay out Medicare, before we pay out Social Security. It's unfortunate, but that's just what the statute says.
Okay. All right. So you don't believe you are doing anything remarkable by picking the Medicare figure rather than the reported figure?
Correct.
It was the Medicare wages figure.
Correct, Your Honor. Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So there's an unsigned parenting plan floating around that I haven't seen that I assume is different from this, which is the parenting plan and other things that were agreed to during the mediation. How do you want me to incorporate that into what I'm doing? Or are you asking more, Ms. Sekle, would you please just decide what income numbers we're using, because then you can push everything else through the child support worksheet, and you and Ms. Amin-Ra would then engage in discussions about, based on the parenting plan, if Ms. Wilson is still in Georgia, it's this number. Once she's documented that she's in Texas, then it's a different number.
Yes, Judge, that's fine. I don't think and Amin-Ra, you can jump in. I don't think the parties really have any issues with the parenting time. Surprisingly, they get along pretty well. We haven't had any issues on that part. So I believe if the court would rule on what the gross incomes should be for each party, we should be able to come up with the two options and send them to Your Honor. And then, of course, you will have the final say, Judge, after the hearing.
Okay, well, I saw Mr. Hugger shaking his head, so we'll hear from Ms. Amin-Ra about that. And I'm not trying to get us suddenly to litigate a parenting plan. That wasn't before me this afternoon. But what I don't want to have happen is then someone files a motion next week saying, well, wait, but parenting, what are we going to do? And in particular, I don't want these two individuals to spend attorney's fees on that, because it's going to change soon. When Ms. Wilson moves, it's necessarily going to be a different parenting situation for Mr. Hugger. But while Ms. Wilson, and more importantly, Keith Jr., are here in Georgia, Mr. Hugger we ought to be maximizing his time with his son. And that's not me saying we shift it all around and suddenly he's the primary custodian. That's not where we are. But I'm hoping that the two lawyers consulting with their clients can come up with here's how things will work until Ms. Wilson moves on the parenting side in terms of visitation, et cetera, consistent with the fact that there's a criminal case, although now the bond's been modified, so Mr. Hugger and Ms. Wilson can communicate about making Keith Jr. available. So let me hear from Ms. Amin-Ra. I want her to give her closing, but before I release you all, I just want to understand what we're doing on the parenting side.
Your Honor, after the parenting plan, we continue to have it as, they both are here right now. So he has had Keith Jr. not pursuant to the two different states, but pursuant to everyone still being in Georgia. Like he's had the child for the last 2 weeks for this summer?
Since the 10th.
Since the 10th of the month. So they've been working out a parenting plan where he can maximize on that right now. So what I would ask for your honor to do once you make the determination is for the child support to be based upon them both being here, which was $600 plus half of the daycare, which was a little less than 1,200. And then it goes to what the court determines it should be when she moves and he has less parenting time and a traveling deviation. Your honor, my client testified that he never saw an additional 120,000 in his pocket. So he never had that 221 or the extra 120 and 8 EJs in his own pocket. He testified that he's sometimes a coordinator. So as a coordinator, sometimes he would either pay out other officers or they got paid directly. So that 221 is not a number that should be used to determine his income at all. Because like I said, it's speculative, and he testified he never saw that in his pocket. And as a coordinator, sometimes he paid them from what the whatever the job is gave to him, and sometimes they got paid directly. So I'm asking that 221 or the extra 120 in EJs not be calculated into today's finding. Your honor, he also testified that the permanent job that would have netted him the most money, someone already has that. So if he, like I said, God willing, he gets back to APD, he would have to broker to get daily EJs and or another permanent EJ. But those things that he had prior to February are no longer available as of today. We have on our child support worksheets, and we're sending this to your honors, these exhibits now. We have him at either $9,825 gross monthly income, and that's based upon his pay stubs that we presented to the court, and his VA at $3,603, what he actually is grossing currently. That's all he's getting from the VA right now is $3,603 plus his 2,871 times 26 times per year. That's his gross. So that gave us $9,825 per month. If your honor is inclined not to go to the number that he was making prior to having to pay the overpayment, then it would be his W-2 income or his pay stub income he receives from APD plus $4,085.43. So that would be a gross of $10,307. Our numbers as to healthcare and daycare, we took straight from opposing counsel's child support worksheet. So the big issue here is what is actually his gross monthly income, and I'm asking the court to find that based upon what we presented, that right now he's making $9,825 in gross every month. So that would mean that his child support should be $1,280 per month, with the $3,603 from the VA. Alternatively, if you did the $4,085 figure, it would be $1,325 per month in child support. Again, the law goes both ways. Opposing counsel indicated that if he got terminated and he's making much less, he can come back to the court and ask the court for a reduction. And the same thing for Miss Wilson. If there's a substantial change in circumstances which elevates his income back up to what she said, extra 54,000 in EJs. If they keep him on APD, that would be deemed a substantial change in circumstances, and she could come back to the court and ask for increase based upon an extra 54,000 he would be getting in EJs. But as of today, his income is is static at what I indicated, either 9,825 or 10,307. And like I said, a $54,000 increase in EJ's if he got his job back. That would be a substantial increase in income, and she could go back as well. So it goes both ways.
Okay. The $600 a month that was the product of the mediation, that's what's being paid currently?
He's supposed to pay $600 plus half of the daycare, and I think that was extra 500 and change. So it was a total of 1,100 and some odd dollars that he's supposed to pay.
He
Okay,
doesn't pay anything right now.
Pardon me?
He doesn't pay me any child support right now. He only pays half of the daycare, and he just started doing that 2 months ago.
Okay, so this agreement said that beginning June 1, that's child support, the 15th and the 30th of each month. So June 15th, Mr. Hugger was to have paid you $300 and then the remaining $300 on June 30th. And now that we're basically done with July, you should have received another $600 broken into two pieces for July. And you're saying, Ms. Wilson, that never happened?
No, sir. He hasn't paid me any child support. He's only paid half of the daycare.
Okay. All right. I'm not holding anyone to task on that other than that, of course, Mr. Hugger, you need to understand when I enter an order saying you got to pay child support, if it doesn't happen, absent you proving that you've been stuck in a hospital with $0, that's a bad development. I'm not quite sure why you haven't been paying, but I'm not here to enforce a mediation. That's not my role. Did I hear you say, Ms. Amin-Ra, just to keep it simple for as long, and there's elegance to the simplicity, I wasn't being critical, as long as Ms. Wilson is still here in Georgia, use the terms that were mediated. And so Mr. Hugger would be paying $600 a month in child support, but he'd actually need to pay it. And he would continue to pay half of the child care. I think that's what I heard you say.
That's correct, Your Honor. The child care, I believe, is each party is like 500 each. So 500 plus the 600 was a little bit over 1,100. He's supposed to pay every month.
Okay.
He's still here. Correct.
Right. Okay. All right. I understand that. Ms. Sekle, I worry still that I'm going to enter some order that deals with child support, but I want to understand what is binding. The very first paragraph of this MOU is that the parties consent to legitimation. Petitioner is deemed the legal father of the minor child. That's great. That's actually what he sued for. But I feel like everyone is throwing the mediation results out the window. I'm not critical of that because at the time there wasn't the news that Ms. Wilson was moving. I don't know that there was the news that she was moving back to Texas.
Well, yeah, just to put it more into context, the mediation agreement was fine. That is what the parties agreed to.
Yeah.
When my client found a hidden camera across the street from her house that showed that Ms. Hugger planted that said camera, that's when we backed out of the mediation agreement. I was going to do a motion to set aside, but Attorney Amin-Ra agreed to simply just set it aside without us incurring more fees to go to court.
Okay, but
So
it's not set aside in the docket, I don't think.
No, it's not, Judge. So what I was going to say was for ease, I see where the court is going. For ease, I agree. I believe we can say in the final order, Dad's legitimated 1. 2, the parties shall operate under the mediated agreement, parenting plan and child support, as long as mom is here. When mom is in Georgia, when mom moves to Texas, then that's when the second child support worksheet can kick in and the long distance parenting plan that they've already agreed on but not signed can kick in. I think that's the simplest way for the court to handle this 2-part. Would you agree, Attorney?
Tell me your concerns, Ms. Wilson.
So I don't mind the parenting plan that we mediated, but I don't agree with what he's reporting as far as his income goes. He tells me he has no money, but yet he can take trips
Okay,
But he
I
did
don't want you to make your lawyer's argument, but I don't think you need to be concerned about that because I didn't, that's going to sound the wrong way. You should be concerned about everything you want to. That was not my point. But the outcome of today's hearing will be me ruling on the level of income that I'm going to apply to determine child support. And so it's not driven by the mediation agreement. It's not at all. I'm not going to say, well, 600, let's just go with 600. 600 was something you guys agreed to through mediation, which is a good thing. It was a temporary result. Again, not so sure why Mr. Hugger hasn't been paying it. He needs to do that going forward. And you don't need to explain why you didn't. You haven't, and you need to going forward. It's a placeholder. That's all it is. I will be entering an order that says, here are the numbers that are going to drive things going forward. And they will be based on all the things I've been seeing today. And what I need to work through is how much of the EJ money out there do I apply to say this is Mr. Hugger's real salary? How much do I deal with the reality that right now he can't do any EJ work? There are these sort of variables out there, but nothing I've said should you hear as, let's go with that 600 figure. Really what I want to make sure is that when we're done, I've entered an order that addresses everything that needs to be addressed so that you aren't, well, wait a minute, the order just says this is child support. What about legitimation? What about work-related childcare? What about right of first refusal, communication? There's a whole lot you agreed to in the mediation agreement, and some of it I need to import into the final order that I do so that it's addressing everything. And I understand why you step back from the mediation agreement. I'm not second guessing that at all. There's just nothing in the docket saying that had happened. And so when I took the bench 2 hours ago, I thought this is going to be easy. You guys agreed to everything. And at one point you had, and Ms. Secklace now told me twice why it is that you said you effectively tore this up. And that's good. I get it. What I may do in my final order is include the fact that the parties are rescinding or rejecting, or we'll pick the right word, the mediation. I want to have your lawyers do as little additional work as possible because that's costing you all money as well. And this is about getting money to Keith Jr. and not into your lawyer's pockets. But I didn't want to leave something unaddressed because then one of the two of you, Hugger or Wilson, is going to say, wait, what about this? Oh, we didn't think about that. And that's going to require a filing, et cetera, et cetera.
Your Honor, I concur with what opposing counsel just indicated, that the parenting portion, all the portions except for the child support, because of the new location eventually, I think can go into the court's final order.
Great.
Is that accurate? And the parenting plan that we have now, we have an additional parenting plan that we can provide to the court that we entered into for the Dallas situation. We already have, the only thing that was missing on that one that we all agreed to and drafted up was the number for child support.
Got it.
We do have another one in place that we can provide to the court. It was just missing the number, so we can provide that to the court. But again, like I said, the law goes both ways. If he's making an additional 54 in EJs, that's a substantial increase, and Ms. Wilson can come back. But right now, if he doesn't have that in his pocket.
I hear you. Okay, right.
It would be extreme hardship.
Okay, understood. I may need to circulate the proposed order with you all because there's so many moving parts so that I'm referencing things the right way. And it won't be for you to say, I don't like that number. It will be for you to say, hey, let's use this language, or actually we want to include I'm calling it the Dallas parenting plan. I don't necessarily ever need to see it as long as everyone signed it, but you may want it as Exhibit A to the final order. I'll certainly reference it and say I'm incorporating this, but the Dallas parenting plan becomes effective only when Ms. Wilson is in Dallas. And before then, Mr. Hugger has the opportunity to spend more time with his son, Good for him, good for his son. That also means there's less work for Ms. Wilson to do juggling life and Keith Jr. So there are those trade-offs. And then we just need to see when the move is going to happen. So I feel like I've got enough to move forward. Obviously, if I don't, Ms. Niles will send an email to both sides. Even though I may only need something from Ms. Amun-Ra, the email, of course, will go to Ms. Sekley as well. Okay? So, Ms. Wilson, I want to reassure you, I didn't take what anyone said to mean you've agreed that everything in that mediated agreement is how we ought to do things. That's why we're here now, because that fell apart. And I'll handle the part that I need to, and your lawyer will fill you in about the rest. Ms. Amun-Ra, anything else on behalf of Mr. Hugger? I couldn't hear you, but it looked like you said no.
No, Your Honor. I think that's everything.
Got it. Okay. Ms. Sekley, anything else on behalf of Ms. Wilson?
No, Judge, I just want to confirm, we're going to send you our exhibits. I'll send you the Dallas parenting plan. The court already has the mediated parenting plan. And that's all. I just want to make sure we're just going to send that to you.
Yes, and I have your exhibits. Ms. Hernandez is Esmeralda on the spot. She sent it. So we've got it. It went to Ms. Amun-Ra as well, but it went to Ms. Niles. So I just need to get from Ms. Amun-Ra petitioner's exhibits, and then the parenting plan, and then I guess you guys are going to figure out what makes it effective, because I incorporate it. It's better yet if your clients have signed it as well. But if I say it's how it's going to be, it really doesn't matter if people signed it. But I'm going to let the lawyers decide that piece.
Ms. Hernandez, have you gotten the petitioner's exhibits now?
Let me check really quick. Did you just recently send it, or was that the one at 1 o'clock?
No, I just recently. What time was it?
4:14.
4:14, like 3 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Okay, yes, I received it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Did they go to Ms. Niles also?
Did it go to everyone? Ms. Niles as well? Yes. Okay, yes. It went to, she replied all. You should say everybody. Yes, Your Honor.
Great. Ms. Niles had to step away, so she hasn't forwarded it to me just because she had to step away, but she'll get those to me. So I've got all the exhibits. I'll ask the lawyers to talk among themselves about how you want I'm calling the Dallas parenting plan to go. You want your clients to sign it first, assuming they will, or you're just going to send it and say, at one point we agreed to this and we think this is what you should incorporate. And I'll take it as you send it. Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Hugger, do you have any questions for me about anything?
Yes, I wasn't okay with the current parenting plan, and
when you say the current one, the one that was mediated, or the one that your lawyer, that I've dubbed the Dallas parenting plan?
the one that was mediated.
Okay, well, that one's dead. I mean, it shouldn't call it dead. It provides some framework for the next few weeks. If there's something specific that you think ought to be changed, you should talk to Ms. Amun-Ra about that. She'll talk to Ms. Sekley, and it may be that Ms. Wilson doesn't mind tweaking it a little bit. I'm not going to group wordsmith it with everyone here, but you certainly should let your lawyer know that if there's something that particularly chafes, it will be the rules of the road for the next few weeks. I don't get the sense Ms. Wilson's going to stick around real long, but until that job is ready in Dallas, I think she's going to be here, and we need it to be as friction-free as possible for you to spend time with your son, but for Ms. Wilson to feel safe and moving independently in her own sphere here in the Atlanta area. Okay?
Sure.
Ms. Wilson, do you have any questions for me?
So you said that the current parenting plan that we should go by is the one that we mediated. So that includes Mr. Hugger starting to pay child support according to that mediated agreement?
It does, and it's not starting. I mean, he's behind the 8 ball. That is the wrong way to start. I appreciate he doesn't have his EJs, but he is also not holding a tin cup on a street corner. He's getting his full salary and his VA benefits. And you haven't seen the $600 a month that mean, I'm holding the document. He signed it. This is the mediated agreement, and it said pay $600 a month. And it's gonna get messy if once a judge signs it and it's not being paid, and that figure is gonna be more than 600. If I take all the numbers Ms. Amon-Ra came up with, is gonna be a number bigger than 600. So he needs to start doing some accounting. You're due that money, and he needs to comply with that. I don't know that you're gonna be here long enough for us to get into contempt, but I haven't entered an order yet, so he hasn't violated a court order. My order will say something about until you move and document that you've moved, he has to comply with the terms of the mediated agreement. Subject to, Mr. Hugger said there's parts of it he doesn't like. It probably shouldn't be the 600 a month figure, because that's lower for the reasons you all helped me understand, because you guys were much closer to co-parenting if you're staying here. It's not quite co-parenting. He doesn't have Keith Jr. Yes. And so he's not able to conceptually deduct from child support because they're day after day after day, where Keith Jr. is with him and not with you, which then is less expensive for you. Did that make sense, what I said? Hold on, Mr. Hugger.
Yes, I understand, Your Honor.
Okay, other questions?
No.
No? Okay, I appreciate your patience. Mr. Hugger, anything else? You held up some fingers.
Yes. So you're saying with the current parenting plan, I have had him the whole time after since the motion has went under. So, and I've been taking on the daycare. So it's not like I have him once a weekend, every other weekend. I've been having him majority of the whole time. So it's no expense on her. I've been taking care of all of his affairs, purchasing him new clothes and shoes that he needs and stuff. His care. He's with me now. I handle everything. So
okay, so it's a little more complicated than, because it doesn't sound like you all followed the parenting plan exactly as it was mapped out.
It's just summertime. It's summer parenting time.
Oh, and maybe it said that in there. I didn't memorize this thing. I just kept seeing, like, you sorted that out. Fantastic, you sorted that out. So it's the summer 2026. That's now. Father will have the periods of, right. So he should have Keith Jr. right now.
Exactly.
I've my end of the bargain and giving him to him. So
got it. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to let Ms. Amon-Ra explain that to Mr. Hugger. But I'm focused on going forward and less looking in the rearview mirror. And you all have helped me figure out how I need to do that. But Mr. Hugger, you should talk with your lawyer about your child support obligations. The fact that Keith Jr. is with you now is very much consistent with the agreement. Although it looked like that ended July 23rd. You still have, is Keith Jr. with you now?
He is with me right now.
Okay, so Ms. Wilson, why would Keith Jr. still be there? It looks like the summer period ended, that big block of time, on the 23rd.
So according to the Dallas agreement that we had, he was to have him from the 10th of July to the 31st. And I've been getting him on days in between that time. Like I had him last weekend when he went out of town.
Got it. This was the military contract.
Yeah. So that's the only reason. And then he has hand, foot, and mouth right now. So he's at his dad's house because I have a 7-year-old and I didn't want her to get it.
Okay, so you guys are being collaborative, which is good. I know I'm talking over you, you're being collaborative, but herein is the issue. You're already talking about, we got the Dallas plan and there's this old plan, and I don't mean to create confusion for you all. It's going to be a little bumpy over the next few weeks because you've got two different plans, and we need to get you as much clarity as possible. I encourage you to do what you just described, because Keith Jr. is not well. Dad is agreeing to keep him, even though that doesn't necessarily fit in either the Dallas plan or the mediated plan. But it's the right thing to do, and I appreciate people doing the right thing. And now I get even more what Mr. Hugger is saying, which is like, well, I got him some time that maybe I wasn't supposed to have him. So what's this child support situation? I wouldn't adopt that mentality, because child support is an independent obligation, independent of things you might agree with your co-parent to do, unless that co-parent also agrees, if you do X, you don't need to pay Y. And I didn't hear Ms. Wilson say she ever said that. So on a going forward basis, make sure everyone is living up to what their agreements are. It will become clearer soon because I'll enter this order and this is what you must do. And you're not going to say, well, wait, is it the Dallas one or the Atlanta one? But you guys have, every situation is different, and the move makes this one a little more complicated temporarily. Okay. All right. I appreciate everyone educating me on this. I hope Keith Jr. gets better. I wouldn't ever want to have that, but he'll work through it, and we will go from there. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Late on Friday. You guys have a good weekend.